YouTube. I was on a cooking show, like a show. Like people paid me money to fly out to California for a day, put me in a studio, professional lighting and everything, and paid me money to cook, kind of.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
On a show, kind of. Let me explain. The show is called Kitchen League, and essentially there's two teams of two. It was me and Dan Giesling versus Stetson and Kraken, two other content creators in the space. And one person is doing the bulk of the cooking. That was on our team, going to be Dan. And then the other person was going to be playing a bunch of video games. In this tournament is specifically Fall Guys. Now, I haven't played Fall Guys in like 3 years, but I talked to Kraken and Stetson, and they also had not. So it really, honestly, didn't matter. But yeah, I got relegated to gaming, and I honestly thought that it was better for me to be there because the person that was going to be on the main screen is basically the focus of the show, and I thought that definitely fits Dan. Dan's been on the TV before, and he's just, you know, he's a lot more boisterous.
I think chat, 1 in chat for tortillas, 2 in chat for meat.
So, what is the point of the person gaming and the person cooking? So the objective is to make tacos.
Yeah. Bam! Bam!
They cook the meat for us, so nobody can undercook meat and give food poisoning to anybody.
Dan, it's not pre-made.
It is!
Okay.
And you have to make tortillas by scratch, make tacos, make a salsa without tomatoes because I said I was allergic to it because I just don't like them very much, and they accompanied. Wow, what nice people that ran that show. But anyways, it was to make tacos and then feed them to judges, and whoever had the better tasting tacos would win the game. Now, chat can use channel points in order to sabotage what we were doing, like giving channel points to making us eat bananas, or making somebody jump up down on a trampoline for 2 minutes, or the one that people really seem to like is when we would swap places. So Dan would go and game for 2 minutes, while I would have to go pick up whatever mess he had created in the kitchen, which was a lot. Dan, if you're watching this, what the hell, man?
Then we take a mixing bowl, okay? Large if possible.
Now, as the gamer, I was playing online games of Fall Guys, and if I completed a round, I qualified for the next round, we would get 1 minute of protection from any sort of sabotages. So if, you know, someone was just voting for making us eat the 3rd banana in a row, I could save us from being sabotaged again and give us more time to cook, because we had 35 minutes total, including the sabotage times, to get shit done and to make tacos from scratch, making tortillas from scratch, making everything from scratch. And if you won an actual crown, you won the whole thing, you would get a few minutes in the kitchen to cook alongside your partner to help them out in whatever way they needed. So at this point, the teams are there, we're introduced, we're on the show. I decide to be the guy that just stares off into space and act really, really menacing the entire time, because I know that Dan's a person that he likes to talk, he likes to take the center of the screen.
Discount Haley Joe Osmond. Look, I'm glad you're here as a replacement, but nonetheless, we're here to focus on Frost Prime's look.
So I kind of wanted to go with an antithesis of that would complement each other, so neither of us were constantly trying to talk over each other, and it would flow better. So I went with the character that's super serious all the time and really mean and angry and ready to fucking kill. Also, by the way, this was a PG-13 show, and they told me that I was the only person that got to say fuck, and I got to say it 1 time because that's what PG-13 movies get now, and I said it 3 times.
Can I get
Like 5 times there's like this.
They're not going to invite me back, but I still get paid. So now that the teams were like introduced and everything, it was time to get into deciding who was going to go first. After a simple coin toss, we won the coin toss, and we decided
We're gonna cook first.
Let us cook.
because there's a benefit in you know, hurtfulness of each. Well, if you go first, obviously you don't get to see the other people cook. That's the big negative. But for the last 5 minutes, you can't be sabotaged, and I also, or the gamer also, gets to go in the kitchen and help out for the last few minutes. But if you go second, obviously you get to see what the other people did wrong, to see what you could do better, and make sure that you know, schedule time for. But you can be sabotaged all the way up to the end, and you don't get that last 5 minutes in the kitchen with the other person. So there's negatives and positives to both. And Dan and I really wanted to get out there swinging, so we decided that we wanted to go first. So Dan starts getting into the kitchen. He's just heating things up. I'm starting to cook in the first round, and immediately, I didn't have enough time to even get towards the end of the first level.
Chad, what? Chad, we didn't even start yet. We didn't even start yet.
We immediately get hit with a sabotage called Scoot's Revenge, which requires everybody, including the host, Scoots. That's why it's called the Revenge of him, because it's kind of like the host giving a fuck you to him. They were mad at him for some reason. But either way, we all had to consume a banana before we could continue. And yeah, if you've ever tried to eat a banana quickly, it does not you can't do it gracefully. Finally, we're back into the kitchen for what feels like just a couple of goddamn seconds. Again, I get into one seesaw match, and then immediately we're swapped, and I'm forced to go into the kitchen. I don't know what Dan's doing. He's failing at making tortillas at this point. All it takes is flour and water, and so I scrap exactly what he's doing because I'm trying to mix it together, and I'm being told that I'm doing it wrong. So I panic, and I'm starting to start grabbing more ingredients, but the host is just breathing down my neck the entire time.
Come on! Okay, hold on. Chat, okay. If you're in this Fall Guys game, let us win. Okay, Frost.
Dan does end up clutching out the last few seconds in the gamer swap, so normally we'd have to go there for 2 minutes, but since he finished a level, it gives us the protection for the last 20 seconds or so, and we get to swap back early, and he gets to get back into the kitchen and focus on what he knew what to do, because he was trained in the kitchen by the people on like how to make the recipe by the show host, and I was trained on how to work a gaming setup, because I, of course, don't know how to do that. But either way, I didn't know the recipe. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't have to pay attention to that part. And then I get thrown into the swap, so I'm just like out there panicking. Things seem to be going somewhat smoothly. I finally get into a game. Dan may or may not be burning tortillas.
What is that?
And again, the chat votes for Scoot's revenge, making us all have to eat a banana. But I'm really close to the end of the level, and so Scoots is pushing me to try to get to the end, because if he just kind of stalls it out and stalls the show, if I get to the end, then he's not required to eat the banana. So I start messing with him because he seems to hate eating the banana far more than I do. I don't know about you. I like bananas, and I hadn't eaten much that day, so I genuinely didn't mind. Just the quickness of it obviously was a big problem, but other than that, I just wanted to make him feel in the hot seat. Now, I'm focusing on the game, and when I'm doing that, I'm trying to protect me and my team from having to do more punishments, and I'm not able to focus on exactly what Dan is doing over there. Obviously, I can see the smoke from him burning the tortillas.
Can I get some chat in the chat?
Sometimes there's like this.
But I can't see every single ingredient that he's putting into various different things. I did see him stabbing a blender at one point with a knife, but when he came over to let me try his salsa, I didn't realize that he had put in apple cider vinegar, a very generous amount.
Mitch, I promise you're going to be fine after you taste this.
And far too much garlic for one man to take.
I'll give you a little taste.
Just a little bit.
Oh my God.
What do we need? What do we need? What do we need more of? I need
A little bit more garlic.
And as it's coming down to the wire, just look at this beautiful photo finish that we have. We might as well be on an actual cooking show. You know, when you're like watching Kitchen Nightmares and everybody's running around as they're counting down 10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, maybe we didn't do all that well, but during the break, Chris, you can see him actually here talking to me. He comes in and he congratulates Dan and I on trashing that kitchen more than anybody had in all of their seasons of the show, in all episodes of this season of the show, in any episode that they've ever done of Kitchen League. Dan and I trashed the kitchen more than anybody else. I think that maybe should have just like won us the show entirely. But either way, Katzen and Kraken now had to come up to the plate, and they had to beat our amazing and efficiently made tacos. They fucking wiped the goddamn floor with us. Holy shit. They kept making Katzen jump up and down, and when she was wielding a fucking knife. And then Kraken was just like clutching up constantly in Fall Guys. Dude was definitely way better than me, and he was timing his victories right when the sabotages were coming out. I had a couple of those moments, but I feel like with him it was like 4 or 5 in a row. Like he could not miss, and congratulations to him. He's a far better gamer than I, at least when it comes to that one specific game that's made for children. At the end of it all, though, look at the difference between the two of our tacos. Whose would you rather eat? Genuinely. I mean, honestly, one obviously was made with a lot of love, and one was just following a recipe. Anybody can do that. So at the end of the day, you can probably obviously tell, especially by my faces, I'm eating them. They actually tasted really good, but I really liked it when I popped a jelly bean at the same time with it. It like actually kind of worked. The flavors worked really well. They were like the like subtly sweet gummy or jelly beans. They weren't like the super intense ones. Either way, yeah, they fucking crushed it. They finished. I should say, maybe not even crushed it, but comparatively speaking. So they obviously fucking won. They obviously won. They obviously won. Listen, this show was an honor to be a part of. Shout out to Kitchen League, shout out to Food Beast, shout out to twitch.tv/crown. That is like so it's like a Twitch thing that they owned the thing, and then they hired the Food Beast, and then Food Beast hired us. Shout out to everybody that was involved with it. There's like 20 people on set. They catered food afterwards. They took us out to a bar afterwards. They were the nicest people. They put us up in a hotel. I mean, it was such an unbelievable experience, and to know that I do this for a living. Like, not just I'm a YouTuber, but I'm the guy that plays roguelikes. I'm the guy that gets bullied if he doesn't play Slay the Spire, and then when he does play Slay the Spire, he gets bullied by saying he's going to commit arson. Like, it astounds me that it's the imposter syndrome of it all, I guess, that I am actually genuinely a content creator that is worth anybody else's time, money, and effort to bring me out and to put me up and to I'm entertaining enough just outside of this niche audience. Because it's when, you know, they come out, they congratulate you, but when you hear that they were talking to, you know, Dan or, you know, Mitch Flower Power, he was the judge, by the way, he was there the whole time, he's really cool, he and I shared an Uber back to the hotel, he and I are homies now, shout out to Mitch. You know, they'd come over and they were saying, yo, so-and-so over there was talking about how like funny you were out there. Like, that's when it, you know, I'm bad at sharing positive emotions, but yeah. Thank you to anybody that came out and supported that event, that watched the event online. Yeah, just the fact that my community and my audience is so willing to try something new with me and supports me in that, and I'm not just this one-trick pony, even though sometimes it always feels like you are, and I imagine that this video might not do as well as my other ones. It's just really cool. Very cool. Awesome-tacular. I don't know. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for supporting my content. See you then. Mwah.